Okay, so we've got to drill down into this, Rob. There are not many 16-year-old people who have the aspiration. I mean, you say you fell into it. Could you
Mm.
give us, kind of a detailed chronology of where you were at 16, where you grew
hmm
up, about your family background, and how
Yeah.
you ended up as somebody who was selling a stake in an incredibly successful business to private equity?
Right. So as a kid, growing up, I was heavily influenced by obviously my family, as everyone is, and sort of work experience, which I think you do at about 14 years old. I think it is. I did work experience with my granddad, and he ran a firm that lines furnaces with ceramic fibre and brick. So we would go around different areas of the Midlands and basically rock up in his van, and we'd line the furnaces, and that taught me a lot of things, like because he would tell me stories, right, about the risks that he took, and at 14 years old to hear your granddad talking about how he remortgaged the house to ship a furnace off to Germany and didn't know if he would get the money and the risks that he took. I think at an early age that, allowed me to sort of think about the way, like risk management and taking risk. And it actually made me really comfortable with taking financial risk, which I think has definitely helped Gymshark to today. After that, as I got to sort of 17, 18, I worked at Pizza Hut as a delivery driver. And I went to school, obviously, and got into my A levels. So my GCSEs, which is up to the age of 16, I wasn't particularly good. It was probably, average. It was Ds, it was Cs. It wasn't great. And I think a lot of that was around the fact that it was quite test based, and I probably didn't apply myself in the way that I should. And I didn't actually get into sixth form, which is the 17, 18 sort of A levels period. And my mum sort of grabbed me around the scruff of the neck and she was like, right, you're gonna work and you're gonna do really well. Because I know that if you apply yourself, you could be brilliant. And she sort of went to the school and she asked the school if they would let me in. Fortunately, they had one more space, so they let me stay into sixth form, which was brilliant for me. But on the premise that I did English literature, which I hated, but I was really good at it, business studies and IT. Now, IT was one of the important moments in my life because, like I said, previously it was very much examination based. And the first IT lesson we did, they sat an old Windows 95 computer in front of us. There's probably like 10, 15 people in the class. And they said, right, you got 2 hours, get into this computer. And it was locked. And all of a sudden I was like, right, here we go. Now this is me. This is like a real application of skill. And I learned web development. I learned mobile development. I learned how to use all these different pieces of software. I taught myself video editing and all these things. And I was just fascinated with the practical application of skill. Now, during that period, I fell into the gym, and I think it was similar to Rob's story, is I was always the skinny kid at school. I wasn't particularly comfortable in my own skin, and I wanted to sort of build up a bit of muscle. So went to my local gym, and like I said, I just fell in love with it. In terms of the Gymshark story, there's so many stars that had to align. And I think one of those stars, by the way, is the fact that 20 minutes away from where I grew up at the Birmingham NEC, they did I think the best fitness event in Europe every single year, an event called Body Power. And for me and my mates, that was like a pilgrimage. That was like the place that we went to because all of our heroes would go there at like 17, 18, 19. And that event was the thing that inspired me just to be involved in fitness. At that point, because of my practical skills I'd learned in IT, I just made websites, I made iPhone apps. So prior to starting Gymshark, I made 4 iPhone apps. I think 2 of them made them into the charts. And then,
what did the apps do? The 2 that made it into the charts?
So one was it was like fitness guides, basically, super, super basic. So one was basically how to burn fat, and one was basically workouts. And you had a calendar. You could populate your calendar on your phone with workouts and stuff. And they were super basic, but they did well because at the time no one was really doing apps, to be honest. And yeah, just made the Gymshark website because I wanted to be involved in fitness. And I didn't add clothes onto the website because that just wasn't the ambition. It was just an involvement in the industry that I loved. And because I didn't have the money to put anything else on the website, in fact, I'll tell you what, so locally, so there's a place called Longbridge, which is not far from where I grew up. And there's a company called USN, which were based there. And one of my mates actually worked there. And I went to him when I was starting the Gymshark website. And I said, listen, can I just buy some supplements to put on the website? And the minimum order was £8,000. Now, at 18, 19 years old, the likelihood of me getting my hands on £8,000 was just impossible. That was like more money than I'd ever seen in my life. So at that point, I thought, right, how am I going to do this? So I loaded the website up with every supplement you can possibly imagine and drop ship supplements from the website. And it was only making like £1-2 profit an order, but I'd had a website that could transact. And
Ben, just slow down. You've got the website. You didn't have 8,000 for a bulk order. Just explain what you did instead.
So I did something called drop shipping. So what you can do is load the website up with images of products. Someone goes on the website and orders a product and you ship it for someone else. And the difference between the cost that you ship it for and what you charge is obviously a small margin.
Got it.
So what the website would do would ship other people's product, and it would look on the surface as though it was Gymshark. And that was the first way that I worked out how to sell product without having to own it, because I couldn't afford to own the product.